Really prioritising time, sort of bitting and batting at exercise here and there, no real clue as to what I was going to do. I'd invested in the equipment, so it's kind of all the gear and no idea. Food was always a bit of a battle in terms of getting the right amounts, getting the right types of foods. So yeah, it was always seemed a bit. I stayed in bulking season about 2 years too long.
And how are we feeling as a result of
that? Lethargic, slow. It was just, I suppose, well, like just psychologically looking in the mirror. You know, you go try clothes on. Not worse than being in River Island and catching yourself in the mirror and being like, "Oof, look at that." When did that happen? Because you're in denial about it for so long, and then the odd thing just makes you realize, like, oh yeah, actually I need to do something about this. If I didn't feel like I was starving myself, if I didn't feel like I was doing what I should be doing, you know, if I didn't feel hungry, I felt like I should be, because obviously I'm trying to lose weight, so why would you not feel hungry, you know? But the reality is that actually the importance of putting the right fuels in to get the right results is so important. And it sort of, I learned a lot, you know, from yourself going through the process of that, you know, that it wasn't necessary to feel hungry, and actually it was about that balance of massive difference in sort of, well, how your clothes feel psychologically, you know, standing in the mirror and not I'll keep it PG, but you know, being able to see your private parts when you look down rather than seeing your belly is all performance. I went from not being able to run, you know, 650 meters down to co-op to being able to run 10Ks in under an hour over that 12-week period as well. So it really was like, I think I mentioned before, I know everyone's different, but my psychological relationship with food was pretty terrible in terms of I would go long periods without eating and then go and eat, you know, a shed load in a very short space of time. Like we discussed in our first meeting, was for me, I kind of in my head kind of knew what I needed to do, you know, like, but actually doing it, and actually, you know, I needed that kick and that kind of guidance from someone.
So looking back now, because you had your doubts about doing the program to start with, didn't you?
Yeah.
You know, you weren't sure if it was for you, etc. And obviously the financial investment. And so now, if you were to speak to the person who was skeptical about taking the program in the first place, what would you say to him?
That you can't put a price on your own well-being, really. You know, it's so important, and to how you feel and how you'll approach life in terms of putting your own time. Yeah. But you know, quite often you do have the time. It's just sitting back and actually looking at it like we did, and saying, right, this is what time you have during the day. So at what points can you do the things that we need to do?
So you're saying it's been a worthwhile investment?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And what would you say to anybody who's currently out there who's seen your amazing results that you've got, but they're still unsure whether the program would work for them, and they maybe sat on the fence a bit? What would you say to them?
So it's easy to always look at other people, and I've done it over years. I've looked at friends, or you see magazines, or you see posts by people, and you always see it's always someone else that has that change. Yeah. And it is possible for you to be that, you know. I know, because I was there. I was sat looking at all these other people. You know, I think it's important that you invest that time in yourself. And you know, it's so easy to sort of sit there and looking back and go, oh, you know, anyone can do it, you know, but anyone can do it with the right support mechanisms in place. And that's the key thing. I think it oversimplifies it to just sit there and say anyone can do it on their own, because I don't actually think that anyone can do it on their own. I certainly couldn't do it on my own. I needed that support. You know, so I invested in it, and it is an investment. You know, you're investing in yourself, and you know, Chris has been brilliant, so I really appreciate it.